Amal, good morning. Can we start, Amal? Are you ready?
Yeah, HOD, we are ready here.
Anto, can we start?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can start it.
Okay, fine. Yeah, good morning to one and all present here. On behalf of the Computer Science Technical Association, COMSTA of St. Joseph's College of Arts and Science for Women, we welcome you all for the live webinar on blockchain technology in medical field. Our resource person is Mr. Ramakrishnan Raman. He's a lecturer, technical trainer, and project mentor in Higher Colleges of Technology, United Arab Emirates. So let's begin with this session. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans, says the Bible. On behalf of the organizing committee COMSTA, Computer Science Technical Association, it gives me great pleasure to welcome our Honorable Principal, distinguished guest of the day, valued faculty members, research scholars, and participants. First and foremost, I thank the Lord Almighty for making this day happen. Let's invoke the presence of the Lord. I now request our Secretary and Principal, Reverend Dr. Sister Aruki Rani, to begin this webinar with a prayer.
The Lord gives strength to his people. The Lord blesses his people with peace. Psalm 29:11. God our Father, we gather together unified in your powerful name this morning, seeking guidance, wisdom, light, and your divine presence. Lord, send your Holy Spirit upon each one of us. We thank you for all the marvels you have worked within us this day, for all the inspiration that has come into the heart of our teachers, for every act of selfless service that you inspired. We praise and thank you for this day and for every opportunity you gave us to do good to others and for every chance we have heard to witness to your goodness by our deeds. God of mercy, we pray for our world. Help us to spread your fragrance of love, joy throughout this day. Grant healing, comfort the sick, and strength to all the caregivers. Keep us, Lord, under the shadow of your mercy. Sustain and support all those who are in need. Into your loving heart of Jesus, we commit the organizers, the convener, Dr. Deena Suresh, the head of the Department of Computer Science, and her team members, Mrs. Bobby and Amal Reggie and others, participants, the resource person, Dr. Ramakrishnan Raman, who are lovingly supportive and ready to share their knowledge in the areas of our need and provide suggestions in this period using blockchain technology in medical field. Enfold them with your divine presence. Empower them with your wisdom and knowledge. Grant that our prayer today May renew us with your knowledge and bring us an infusion of the power and the gifts of your Holy Spirit. Amen. My dear participants, a graceful good morning to everyone present here. I am sure this international webinar will provide a platform to exchange your ideas, goals, and suggestions and give new eyes to see the existing horizon. I wish you all good luck and God's blessings. My sincere appreciation to Dr. Deena Suresh and the team members for their strenuous efforts to organize this webinar successfully. May the good Lord bless all their efforts abundantly. Have a good day.
Thank you, sister. Let me welcome our chief guest. Our chief guest is an inspirational person with great commitment, dedication, enthusiasm, and simplicity. I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome and invite our chief guest, Mr. Ramakrishnan Raman, lecturer, technical trainer, project mentor, Higher Colleges of Technology, United Arab Emirates. We welcome you, sir. Let me give a brief introduction about our chief guest. Ramakrishnan sir has completed his Bachelor's of Engineering, Computer Science and Engineering at MS University in 1999. He has completed his Master's in Engineering in Computer Science and Engineering at Anna University in the year 2005. He has completed an online postgraduate program in Data Science and Business Analysis at University of Texas in 2019. He has successfully passed the Microsoft Certified Proficient MCP in ASP.NET, ITIL Foundation Certificate in IT Service Management, Blockchain Developer from IBM in 2018. He is also an IBM Certified AI Analyst. Mr. Ramakrishnan sir is a technological enthusiast with a proven skills and experience in various IT projects with more than 19 years of technical expertise. He is also having a 9+ year experience in software development, design, support, and training. He has also worked directly with the clients in United Kingdom and Qatar. Having more than 10 years of experience as an educator in various academic institutions, he is currently working as a lecturer, technical trainer, and project mentor in Higher Colleges of Technology, United Arab Emirates. The above mentioned achievements are just a part of his overall achievements. We are indeed proud to have such an eminent personality among us in this webinar. Thank you for sparing your valuable time with us, sir. We welcome you all. It's gratifying to see so many participants. I heartily welcome all the professors, research scholars, and participants from various colleges who have rendered their valuable time from their busy schedule to grace this webinar. I once again wish everyone a hearty welcome. Welcome you all. Now I hand over the session to Ramakrishnan sir.
Thank you, Deena ma'am, for your anyway. So before I start, so am I clear, ma'am? Is audible? My voice is audible now. Is it clear? Hope it's clear, yeah.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Okay, thank you. So first of all, I would like to thank St. Joseph College management for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share whatever I know, right? So sharing the knowledge is it's kind of a learning for me. So my objective is to learn something from you at the end of the session. Okay, so without wasting time, let's just jump into the topic for today. Okay, let me share my screen. Just confirm me once you are able to see my screen. Okay. So okay, ma'am. Yes, my screen is appearing now.
Yes, sir, we are able to see your screen.
Thank you very much. Okay. So I don't want to give a more introduction about myself. So what we are going to cover, what I wanted to share today is about the blockchain in healthcare, or otherwise how the blockchain is going to help in medical field. Okay, so this is a right topic at this right time, as every one of us is going through a pandemic situation and lockdown at home. So I believe this session will give you more idea about the latest technology. Okay, so my name is Ramakrishnan. I'm IBM certified blockchain developer. I'm currently living in UAE. Okay. Right. So before I start, I just tell you everyone that I just categorized, or I just prepared this session based on the audience. So I believe that most of the audience is from research and academic background. So I just limited my technical content to a very not much technical content basically, but I will try to cover, or I will try to share as much as technical information as possible when we just move on. Okay. So this is a before I share my agenda, I wanted to read my acknowledgement. So some of the contents, images, and graphics used in this presentation are taken from the internet. So I would like to acknowledge, thank all the authors of the contents, whatever I have used. Okay, I'm so thankful to them. Okay, so this is the agenda I'm going to cover for today. Okay, so first we are going to start with the current challenges in healthcare. Okay, so how why we need to worry about the healthcare, what are the different challenges, we are going to discuss about it. And then we are going to discuss and I'm going to share about as I am aware that some of you have attended the blockchain session in the past, and most of you have some basic idea about the blockchain, but for the benefit of others, I'm going to give some intro and as well as some more details we are going to discuss about the blockchain. And I'm going to cover about how blockchain specifically helps in healthcare. So as you're aware, the blockchain span its applications across multiple verticals. Yeah, both horizontal or vertical, you can take it in any way. But the objective for this session is to just highlight how the blockchain is going to help you in healthcare environment. And I'm going to share you with some of the use cases currently where it is used, and some of the successful startups they already implemented blockchain in the healthcare industry. And I'm going to discuss about one of my implementation called Medical Blocks, not mine, with my I'm one of the co-authors for this particular project. I'm going to discuss about that in a very little bit manner. I'm not going to go into very much detail. And then we are going to say about what would be the future adoption in blockchain in healthcare, where we are leading to, where this blockchain adoption will lead to in next 10 or 15 years. So we are going to discuss about that. And finally, I will leave the floor open for a question and answer session. Okay, so this is the agenda for today I'm going to cover. Okay, so let's just move on. Let's just start with the current challenges in healthcare, right? Okay, so hope everybody is familiar with the healthcare industry, right? Because every day without healthcare, definitely we cannot pass our life, right? So we have to, so many of us have been visiting the hospitals once in a lifetime at least. For sure, yeah. Without healthcare, we are nothing. Yeah. So let's start. I know this is a technical session. Okay. So instead of that, I just want to take you to the different level. Okay. Just forget about the technical session. I want to start with a movie. Okay. So I believe many of you are movie watchers. Yeah. So let's say the movie starts from here. Okay. So we are just showing highways. Okay. And just see there, we are just showing and we are focusing on an old lady who is trying to cross the road. Okay, when she is trying to cross the road, let's say that there was a car rushing towards and just hit her. Okay, she was on the floor now, and the car actually, as usual, the car not in the spot, it just flew away, okay, from the spot. Now what happens, the people around that old lady are panicking. Everybody was panicking, and some people don't know what to do, and some people are trying to call the ambulance, and some people are taking a selfie and trying to post it in a Facebook and all that, right? So here comes, when the whole crowd was around that lady, there is one person who is trying to keep the crowd away, and he just seeing that lady, and he was shocked very much, and he started crying. Who is this guy? So he's the son of that old lady, and he's our hero. Okay, and he was really shocked, and he know what to do. So he immediately took that lady, and next scene we are going to the hospital. Okay, and he just admitted her into the hospital. Don't ask me how, because he's a hero. He has all the capabilities to take her to the hospital. Okay, so he just reached the hospital. Okay, and it was next scene we are just showing the operation theater. Okay, so the son was waiting outside with curious, and he was very shocking. And operation theater, after some time, the doctor was coming out of the operation theater, and he was glad, and he's saying this, okay, it's a medical miracle you might have seen in many movies, right? So he's just saying she's out of danger, and and uh, and this particular hero was very happy. Okay, he was relieved now. And then doctor says that this is why she was saved, because you took her on time. If you have delayed by few minutes, it's not in our hands. It's all happens because you took her to the hospital on time. Okay, so here is the story ends. Okay, so now this is our first challenge in healthcare. Okay, so timely access to the data. Okay, for example, why the doctor says that if you have delayed the patient, it would be very danger for her or his life. It's because when you reach the doctor, the first thing they are not going to start the prescription or everything immediately. They need some time to diagnose, right? Diagnose what happened to the patient, and the doctor needs to access the data about the patient, to know about the patient. So it took some time to analyze what happened to the patient, and then he will start the prescription or diagnosis, right? So the timely access to data is a very dangerous thing in healthcare, right? Many times, if you remember, if you are living in Chennai, for example, and you are visiting a particular hospital for last 5 or 10 years, and you are going to Maharashtra, and suddenly you got into accident. Not some person, okay, not you, some person got into accident. And if he or she is unconscious, the doctor wants to, before he giving any kind of medicine, he needs to access the history of the patient, right? So without that, it is not advisable for the doctors to give. So because without knowing whether he's a diabetic patient or without knowing he's allergic to any medicine, it's not possible for the doctor to prescribe any kind of medicine. So he need to access this data. How it is possible? In current scenario, you can think it is not at all possible. It's not happening anyway, right? So the timely access to data is very vital in healthcare. So that saves the life of a lot of patients. Okay, right. The second one, the fake health and drug data. Okay, so as in COVID situation, you might be hearing that there are a lot of even N95 fake masks. You might have read in the newspaper, right? And apart from that, there are a lot of drugs coming out of the market. They are fake. They change the expiry date. They print the same label like a particular pharma company, and they just release into the market. Is there a way for the consumer or the organization, even for the government organization, to ensure that this is coming from a particular pharma company? What kind of raw material they use, or how it is being preserved at a particular temperature? It's not at all possible as in the current situation, where an end user like you and me can go and track whether this particular drug is a real one or a fake one. It's really happening, right? So this is another challenge, where the fake health and drug data. Okay, so another important thing, it's a very popular saying, right, that people used to say, right, we should not lie to the doctors and lawyers, right? Why? Because saying the correct information is very important for the doctor to diagnose you correctly. Yeah. So for some reason, some of the patients may be not sharing the correct details, health details, maybe intentionally or unintentionally, or maybe unconscious. They don't know how to share the data. So all these problems are here. So at this point of time, how a doctor can access a valid information, health data about a patient, okay? So these manipulated health data can lead to kill life. And third one, interoperability. So in our lifetime, I'm sure that we are not visiting one hospital, right? We are just moving on from one city to another, and we are visiting a lot of hospitals throughout our lifetime. So let's say you are going to a particular hospital A for a long time, okay? 3 years you are visiting the hospital for a particular treatment. And after some point of time, you feel that you are not happy with the treatment. You wanted to change the hospital, okay? Let's say you are moving to hospital B. So at this point of time, it is very essential that you need to share all your health historical data to the hospital B to effectively prescribe, effectively treat you, right? So if you just call up the hospital A and ask them, can you please share the data, is it possible? So for business reasons, people will not share. Basically, the hospital managements may not be interested when you are moving out. They don't want to lose the customers, right? So there is an interoperability, and also the hospitals across the globe, okay, even in India or any country, they store the data in a different format. So just sharing the data, okay, between the hospital, it's not happening, but it's very, very vital. So that is going to help the patient's life, so interoperability. And also there is no consensus to share patient data among the different entities. When I say entities, you can just treat this like hospitals or government organizations or pharmaceutical companies or distributors. You take anyone, okay? So there is no consensus to share patient data among the different entities. Also, the format of the data is different across the different entities. The next one is a flawed claim process. So most of us have insurance cards, yeah, so health insurance cards. So you know the process of how to claim. So even here, when I wanted to visit the hospital, I have to present my insurance card. It will take 15 minutes for them to check whether I am covered with particular disease, whether I am allowed to treat, am I get the insurance covered or not. It takes a time to, if something is not covered, I have to pay from, and I have to claim this later. If you just think about this process, it is not an easy task, right? It's like normally it takes from 2 days to 2 months sometimes, yeah? So this flawed claim process is a lengthy and time consuming process. And also for the insurance companies, there are a lot of fake claims. Okay, so these fake claims for insurance is associated with the next challenge called data security. Okay, so what is the data security, right? So now we know that, okay, so now you can understand that you wanted to share the data, right? You wanted to share the health data. Okay, so many of us, we don't know the value of your health data. Okay, we just don't care. Like, this is like, we care more about our phone data, contacts or emails or images, photos, videos, and all that. All apart from that, your health data is very much valued. Okay, there are a lot of interesting topics available in the internet, and mainly go into the ZTNet. Okay, this is one of the popular medical website. You can go and check how much your health data. Okay, this is in millions. You cannot imagine this particular health data is going to cost millions for many people. There are still the data breaches in the healthcare field is surging. Okay, it's like skyrocketing every year. Governments, organizations, or hospitals, everyone wanted to see how they can secure this data, how they can secure it from the hackers. Okay, so I told you about the fake claims, right? These health data hacked from someone, they can use it for fake claims. Okay, this is associated with it. I'm not going into the deep. You go and check by yourself how your health data can help to make a fake insurance claims. It will be interesting to see that. Okay, so also most of the time there is a third party involvement in data sharing. So our data is at risk now if it is not properly maintained by the hospitals, right? And finally, there are a lot of patient generated data nowadays, right? So many of us are using wearables, right? So like we use a Fitbit or some kind of MI band trackers or Apple watches or Samsung watches, and every time we collect lots of data. So while this data is going, so I wanted to know, as a patient, I wanted to know whether this data can be used when I am in danger. Okay, so for example, I wanted to know whether whatever I am generating, whether this data can be shared, analyzed, and take decision by a doctor. Okay, even though I understand if you use a Samsung or an Google Apple Watch, these data is basically collected and just transferred to your mobile phone or mobile app, and then it will be analyzed and it will give you the graph, visualization, everything good. But what is that beyond? What is that? Can I just use this data to the next level? Shall I share this data with the doctors? Whether the doctors can easily access this data and they can do something. So these are the current challenges we are associating with the healthcare industry, right? So to summarize this, we are looking for a solution, right? We are looking for a solution that should solve this. I want a solution that there should be a universal access to the healthcare data. Of course, when I say universal access, it doesn't mean that anyone can access anyone's data. No. Universal access means my health data should be accessible by anyone with my concern at any point of time, okay, throughout my lifetime. That is called universal access. We are looking for that kind of solution. And second one, whether is it possible to trace everything. So how many times I'm visiting the hospital, what kind of treatment I got, and what kind of prescription, what kind of drugs I consumed. Is it possible? Is there a way that these data can be traced? Is there a way? I'm looking for that solution. And third one, as I said, these data, okay, now I got the universal access. You can trace back all my events, all my health data, all my everything. Okay, but when I want to share the data, how I am going to store this data? When I say universal access, there should be a common format, right? There should be a common format so that everyone can access. So is there an interoperable mechanism that can allow my data to be shared across the universal, I mean, the whole universe? Is it possible? I am looking for the solution. And finally, above all, now I have got the universal access to my data. My data is traceable. Yes, it is interoperable. It can work in any environment, any platform. But the biggest question is it secured? So I am looking for the solution that can combine all these things. Okay. So here we introduce our hero, blockchain. Okay. So here we introduce our hero, blockchain. So I believe most of you know about blockchain. Okay, so blockchain is basically a DLT mechanism or a distributed ledger technology where you can share the data in a more secure environment. So that is the high-level definition for blockchain. Okay, so let's say quickly see how the blockchain works. Okay, as you can see here, basically the blockchain is nothing but, as I told you before, the blockchain. Let's say one party requests the transaction, okay, and this is kind of a P2P network. So when you are saying it's a blockchain network, it is a peer-to-peer network, and the participants or the peers in the network can be called as nodes. Okay, so these nodes, basically, when I want to create a transaction, if I am part of the, I am one of the nodes, I cannot just, this transaction will not get approved until otherwise I get consensus from all the nodes. Okay, so I have to, as a member of a blockchain network, I need to initiate a transaction. It will be added to a node, and all other nodes in the network, they have to check your transaction, they have to approve it, and then once it is approved, they have to validate using some algorithm. When I say algorithm, you can think of this network. So then you can ask me, so sir, then are you saying that there will be someone sitting and receiving the request, verifying it, validating it, and then approve or reject? No, that's not going to happen. Here we are going to use something called smart contracts. The smart contract is a way of mechanism where the rules are pre-written. Okay, so there are pre-written rules are there. When a transaction is coming to the node or the network, the particular smart contract will get executed, and if it is passed through, it will get approved or it will get rejected. So another beauty of this smart contract is this smart contract is transparent to everyone. Everyone knows that what other nodes are expecting. Here, we are not going to trust the participants. You don't have to trust someone who is sitting on the node. You are not going to trust the person, but you are going to trust the technology. Okay, so what kind of technology? The consensus protocol and an algorithm is a highly secured smart contract algorithm, and smart contracts and highly secure the hash codes that moving along every blocks, right? So we are going to trust that. So these smart contract will take this data, take the transaction, verify whether it will go through all the rules I have written in the smart contract. If yes, I will approve the transaction. Otherwise, I'm going to reject the transaction. If it is approved, then it will be added as a block, and it can be viewed as a public ledger. Okay, it can be public or private or anything. Okay, so that is the core of the blockchain. So basically, each and every block is going to have the transaction details, the data, the timestamp, the hash code. Okay, and all these are going to be connected like a blocks as a chain. And these chains, how it is secured? These chains are connected. The hash code from one block is being available or is being appended to the hash code of another block. So in this way, if anyone trying to hack the data, it is not at all possible. The whole chain, you know the chain, right? So when you have a normal chain, gold chain, let's say, if it is cut as that's it. You don't have a connectivity. If you just cut the chain, what happens? The same way, if anything is changed, anyone trying to hack something, the whole chain will break. So that is how the blockchain is secure. So when we talk about this blockchain, there are different types of blockchain, okay? So it can be a public blockchain, private blockchain, or a hybrid blockchain. Many of us are familiar with Bitcoin. Even now, many people think that when we talk about the blockchain, it is Bitcoin. No, Bitcoin is basically uses the blockchain technology. Of course, the Bitcoin are the one they introduced that from there the blockchain technology came into existence. Okay, the Bitcoin basically a public blockchain, which means anyone can easily go into the network. Okay, if you have just an app, okay, for example, if you want to invest in a Bitcoin, you just need to have a client app. Okay, so just log in, you just register yourself, and you give all your details, and you just investing. You just start investing money. That's it. You're just part of the Bitcoin, and the coins will be assigned to you. That's it. You don't know who is doing what. So that is the public blockchain environment. Whereas the enterprise environment in enterprises uses private blockchain. Most of the time, enterprises uses private blockchain. It has a more control. In the private blockchain, you have more control over the participants. You know who is doing what. It can be traceable. So it is not at all possible for anyone to get into the without the consensus from everyone. So that is a private blockchain. Sometimes some use cases that may need a hybrid blockchain, where you may need to use both private blockchain and public blockchain. For example, you take the case of our healthcare industry. You are going to build an application here. The public is also involved, like me. I wanted to know my health data through in a secure way. So the organization and government organization can build a private blockchain along with a portion of public blockchain. Okay, or within the organization, let's say if you take an hospital, they have multiple departments, right? So each department has to verify some of the documents before you go to the insurance. So you can create, and hospitals can create a private blockchain within themselves, so that the participant within the organization, they will see only the data related to them, and the smart contract will be executed based on some condition, and it will go to the next level. So it can be the combination of private and public blockchain. So that's what the blockchain is all about. Now you may have another question. It may sound like, sir, this is all about the data, right? So why don't we do it in a normal RDBM, a traditional relational database management system? Why we need that? Yes, very good. It's a good question. Yes, the blockchain is not the answer for everything, right? You cannot just say, I will use blockchain for everything. Tomorrow I'm going to replace everything with blockchain. No, it's not going. It is not the idea about the blockchain. You cannot replace whatever you have now with the blockchain. So blockchain has its own uniqueness, like how the RDBMS is having it, right? So for example, in RDBMS, the biggest thing, for example, the auditing. So let's say you are an owner of you are using a SIM card, right? So let's say you are using an Airtel SIM card, just for an example, okay? So you are using it, let's say you are changing your mobile, say a mobile phone, or changing your SIM card and changing your address and everything. So what will happen? Can you able to see my screen, ma'am? Dina, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is visible.
Right. Thank you. So let's say you are using an Airtel SIM and you are changing your address for a long time. Okay, and some person, someone committed a crime. He's keep on changing his SIM card and address and everything. So what happens now? The Airtel, maybe when I wanted to see, I can basically go and update my address. So what happened to my previous address? It will be mostly deleted most of the time, right? There are some database mechanism that will allow you to have a track, but in blockchain, this is inbuilt. It allows only read and append. Yes, you cannot update. If you want to change something, it has to go as a new transaction. There is no way that the data you have already entered has been deleted or modified by someone. So which means all your data, historical data, or whatever you are doing, say everything is recorded in the chain. So that is where the biggest advantage, where the blockchain makes a difference with the DBM. There are so many things. Okay, if you are interested, you can go for further read, and you can try to compare. If you are coming from RDBMS or DBMS background, try to compare how my DBMS can be compared with a blockchain. What kind of futures I can, what is the trade-off between these two? Definitely you can have a read. It's very interesting. Okay, right. So now let's say, why blockchain? Why I need to have the blockchain? Okay, so if you see the blockchain basically built on these 4 pillars. Okay, there is something called consensus. As I said, the consensus is something, but something like everyone in the node accepts for everything. Okay, what everything the sense whatever they are that whatever is required for the business process. Okay, there is a consensus among all the nodes in the network. Okay, and second one, these as I told you, these are immutable. So technically speaking, it's not immutable, which means you can still change the data. Okay, which means not the existing one, it will be added as a new, but theoretically speaking, it's immutable. Once you entered, you cannot change it forever. So that's the immutable. So another one is the provenance. Yeah, there is a provenance saying that yes, this is done, but there is a timestamp. Each and every transaction is a timestamp, right? So no one can change the time. You can track and go back and see at any point of time. And finality. Finality is something like whatever you are seeing in the blockchain is final. Okay, so if you just think of a normal account book or ledger, if you want to look for a transaction, you may have to look in multiple places to confirm whether the data. In the current situation, it is possible that the one account book show a different data, and another account book show a different data. It is possible, right? But in the blockchain, whoever the participants of the nodes, they see the same data. Whatever you are seeing is called a world, is basically and technically it's called as the world state data, whereas the state data is final to all the nodes and participants in the blockchain network. Okay, so now why blockchain? Let me just try to highlight the features of blockchain. Okay, so as I told you, the unalterable copy, okay, not copy. Okay, so immutable. So your data is immutable. Okay, if it's the patient data, or you can see the patient data is immutable. No one can change the data. And next one is the real-time tracking. Yes, your data is available 24/7. You just in the blockchain, you just have to consume, you just have to access through an application at any point of time. You can just trace back to any kind of node to see what happened. Okay, so in this point of time, you should remember that there are heavyweight nodes and the lightweight nodes. So heavyweight nodes is a one where the nodes can agree to have all the blockchain data in their node. Okay, lightweight nodes is something that will allow only the latest copy. There is a provision that you can allow the nodes to have or carry only less amount of data as possible. Okay, so overall, the real-time tracking is one of the wonderful features that we have in the blockchain. And then, as I said, it's highly secure. Okay, so whole thing is based on the consensus protocol, and it uses the encryption and cryptography and hash algorithm and whatever you call it as the network security things. It's all inbuilt into the blockchain environment. Okay, so another comparison with the traditional database is single point of failure. You know, the many organizations around the world, they spend a lot of money on, or they invest a lot of money for having a primary database server, a secondary database server, and they will have multiple versions, primary database server 1, secondary database server 1, just for the disaster management. Okay, so now here in blockchain, there is no single point of failure. What does it mean? So your data, as you know, the copy of your data is available in all participating nodes. So when one particular node is down, or one particular node is crashed, or one particular node is hacked, you don't have to worry about it. The same copy of data is available in some other node. So that is called the no single point of failure. And next one is the transparency. Okay, so if you take any business process mechanism, it basically about the transparency, right? When you want to do a business, you expect the people should be transparent. So when you are going to do a business process, it is going to be basically consist of multiple participants. It's not the only one entity, right? So for example, you take supply chain. When you take supply chain, there are many participants involved in that, right? So starting from the producer, or from the consumer, or the supplier, or the raw material supplier, or the distributor, you take anyone into this. This basically consists of multiple people into the blockchain. So how you are going to implement, how we are going to bring a transparency among these participants. So as I told you before, in blockchain, the nodes participating in the blockchain, they don't have to trust the people, okay, but they are trusting the technology. Okay, the technology, they are trusting the technology, they are trusting the consensus mechanism, they are trusting the smart contracts in a blockchain. Okay, so that way the blockchain is transparent. Okay, Next one, reduce cost. As I said, many companies are investing a lot of money in database servers. They're deploying it and integrating. A lot of things are there. So this blockchain is proved to be reduce the cost, and there are many use cases available in the internet. You can go and check how the blockchain implementation is cost effective. And next one is a trusted transaction. As I said, the people trust the transaction. I cannot say if I am the part of the blockchain, only thing I have to worry about whether my smart contract executed successfully. If I want to get approval from me, these are the rule 1, 2, 3, 4. Let these rules get executed, then it approved. That's it for me. Okay. So in this way, I trust the transaction, I trust the technology, and not the people. Okay. And finally, there is no third party involvement. There is no third party. All the parties involved here know each other, right? Because they are part of the node. Everyone know about what is the smart contract, what is that going to happen in the whole chain. Everybody is aware what is going to happen. There is no third party involvement. So these are the features that cover the blockchain. So I believe I have covered something about the blockchain. Okay, I know the time is very limited. It's a short time. We cannot just cover everything in blockchain, but I believe I have given this information. Okay, so to technically speaking, there are some of my friends also joined in this from IT. So technically speaking, there are two ways you can implement blockchain. Blockchain is now implemented in two ways. One of them is IBM Hyperledger. Okay, and another one, the Oracle is also a major player. Also, Ethereum. Ethereum is the one that come after the Bitcoins. That's where 1 minute. Okay, so that's where these smart contracts are being introduced into the market. Okay, just give me a minute. Give me 2 minutes. I'll get some water and come back. Yeah. Sorry for the interruption. I just continue. Can you see my screen, ma'am? You know, ma'am?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, right. So I'm talking about the technical side of blockchain. So the majorly IBM Hyperledger and Ethereum are the one they implement blockchain, and Oracle is another one as well. Okay, so all these things, the technically what you need to know is mostly it's all written in the Solidity programming language, which is based on Node.js as well as JavaScript. So if you are having skills in JavaScript, it's very easy for you to easily go on track in the blockchain environment. Okay, right. So let me just move on to the next slide. I'm going to talk about some of the use cases in healthcare. Okay, so how the blockchain is going to help in healthcare. Okay, right. The first one, as I said, the patient data management. Okay, as and foremost, as I told you, if you remember, we discussed about the challenges in healthcare, right? So I told you about how accessing the data in a timely manner that saves the lives of the patients, right? So the patient data management, that is one of the important factors, or one of the important use cases in healthcare, where you can manage and store the data securely. Okay, and you can personalize an on-point treatment. Now the patients have more control over the data. As a patient, as an end user, you have full control over the data, and you will decide who will access your data at what point of time. And you can select it. I wanted to share only this data to these particular participants. Okay, so there are some companies, there are some interesting implementations where They are offering cryptocurrency as an incentive for the people who wanted to share the data. So we are going to discuss about that. Okay. So the patient data management is one of the very positive use cases in healthcare, and many of the companies started implementing it, and it will come into the future for sure. And next one, track traceability. As I told you, the government organizations around the world and many auditing companies and everyone, they are worried about how to trace the trucks. There are a lot of fake trucks in the market. How it is possible to trace and see that's a real truck or real medicine? So how we are going to, there are truck counterfeit is one of the major incidents happening around the world, and blockchain will make blockchain will be like can help to make this particular all the transaction, all the traceability, because as you know, the blockchain is discovered or basically it has more use cases in the supply chain environment. So the drug traceability is one of the supply chain areas where the blockchain can be applied. Here everything can be tracked from the time and immutable, and you can add some IoT devices just to see that the trucks are preserved at a proper temperature. So everything is possible with drug traceability using a blockchain. The next one is the clinical trials. Okay, in many countries, the clinical trials are being collected for before the pharmaceutical companies. They need a clinical trials to formulate their medicine or drugs, the formulas, to chemical formulas and everything. They need to monitor. They need to collect these clinical trials and to see how effectively they can deliver, or they can release some new tablets or new drugs into the market. Okay, so there are a lot of data manipulations going on. Also, these clinical trials are shared between the different people for cheap money and all that. Okay, so all these things can be stopped with blockchain. And next one is genomics. Genomics is another wonderful area where you know about genomics. It's about each and every one of us is having an genes, and these genes information is very vital, and it is used by many scientists or many scientists around, the researchers around the world, to identify your most rare diseases like Alzheimer, or you take any kind of rare diseases. So for many of the rare diseases, they analyze these genomics and analyze the genes to see how an effective solution can be done. Okay, so currently even these genomics market is also very hot, where the hackers are trying to your data has been hacked and being shared without concern, without the privacy concern of the consumers or the end user. This has been shared across the platform. Okay, so using blockchain, this can be streamlined. Yeah, so you can every single user can have a privacy genetic. Okay, also this is going to okay, right. Another one is clients and billing process. Okay, so as you know, if you are going to as I told you before, if you are going to a hospital, and if you are making a claim, basically here even for me, when I'm going to claim, it takes minimum 3 weeks time. Yeah, it takes minimum 3 weeks time. And sometimes the insurance, the hospitals need to verify whether I am covered in that or not. Sometimes they may have to apply for it, and they will ask me to call back after a week to see whether my disease, the treatment for my disease, is covered in my insurance or not. So all these are basically time consuming, even for the health insurance company, even for the end users, or even you take the hospitals. For all of them, it involves a lot of time to make the health insurance works for everyone. Okay, so how you can reduce this processing time? So you can do it with the blockchain. You just create at each and every entity or insurance companies, they can create their smart contracts, and they can just see whether these things are valid. These things are valid. Just go ahead and approve. And instead of 3 weeks of time, this can be done, let's say, in 1 day. It's minimum. It can be an hour's time. It may be possible. Okay, there are successful implementation of the claims and billing process through blockchain is available in the internet. You can have a read about it. Okay, so just an extension of it here, I am just giving you what are the different startups they basically do across the globe. Okay, if you can see, I'm just giving this idea. So I know some of you are doing a research related to blockchain, and if you're doing research related to healthcare, you can go and have a check at these particular companies. Okay, for example, these companies. Okay, these are all the startups. They have successfully implemented, and they have a lot of clients for them. If you go into these people's site like iSolve or Chronicle or PokeTalk or Patientry Inc., all these things, they have successfully implemented blockchain solution for these problems, like a patient supply chain or a drug supply chain, or patient data management or drug supply chain, or a clinical adjudication or the claim adjudication. Okay, all these things, it's possible, it's already implemented. So if you want to see how they have done, I have seen a lot of articles in these companies website. If you just go into Chronicle or iSolve, they have given clearly how their system works. You get a lot of idea and even the technical ideas, and they will definitely help you how you can build your own blockchain. Even some of the sites are very interesting. Okay, so that is the basic objective behind sharing this particular PowerPoint. So you can see the Chronicle, iSolve. You can make a note of these companies, and you can go into these sites, and you can definitely read, just go through their website and see how they effectively use blockchain. Okay, and out of which I am impressed with this particular company called Medical Chain. Okay, this particular company, what they have done, they use IoT along with Medical Chain. Okay, so IOMT, many of us are aware about IoT. There is something called IOMT. Okay, so Internet of Medical Things. Okay, so Internet of Medical Things is very popular nowadays because of this emerging or the development in the devices, right? So every one of us wear some device. Every one of us devices like mobile phones or anything, it started tracking the health data. So this company, they have come up with an bracelet. Okay, you can see here, Medic bracelet. Okay, so any patient, they have to just wear this bracelet, and when they are visiting the doctor, they have to just scan with their mobile phone. Maybe it may Bluetooth enable or something, and they can see all the history. So the data, when they access this, so this data is coming from the blockchain. So they have effectively used blockchain with IoT. If you have a research area that you wanted to implement IoT with blockchain, or data analytics, IoT and blockchain, this is a place you can go and check to start with. Okay, Medical Chain. Okay, medicalchain.com. It's a very popular website, very good website. I like the idea they have done. As you can see, this one is basically the bracelet. Just they have to have it on their hands, wristbands, like a wristband. Just visit our doctor. The doctor can scan and see everything. Okay, all the historical data. Okay, it's a very interesting device and very interesting company to look for. And now, as we are in the pandemic situation, it is not fair if we are not talking about the COVID-19, right? So our coronavirus is here, so we need to cover it, right? So I have just included how this blockchain is impacting the current situation. Okay, and IBM is taking a lead in this implementing and effectively implementing the blockchain for this. Okay, so they have a product called Rabbit Supplier Connect. Okay, so using this Rabbit Supplier Connect, as you know, the demand for the PPE, okay, the personal protection equipment like a mask, or you take N95 mask or surgical mask, or ventilators, or a full suit, or anything related to PPE, it's in high demand now. Okay, as usual, when there is more demand and less supply, so the market will try to play on it, right? So some people will try to sell the 500 rupees thing they wanted to sell for 2,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees. People are still ready to buy because there's a demand, right? So to make sure to help with this supply and demand, the IBM has opened something called Rabbit Supplier Connect. It is a blockchain-based environment platform where all the suppliers and traders or the consumers, like big companies, they can join this network. Okay, this blockchain network is open till August 30, 2020, and it's available only in US and Canada. Okay, so what they have done, using this, any emergency supplier, see, if I have a company, I'm already supplying these PPEs. Okay, now I am in need of, people are demanding, but I don't have. But I have only established suppliers. I don't go beyond that. And there is a lockdown around the world. I'm just struggling to find where is the supplier. So using this Rabbit Supplier Connect, it allows all the suppliers to be part of it. So what happens then now, if I am the supplier of one of the PPEs, I cannot just skyrocket my price of my PPE equipment, right? I cannot sell my ventilator for a multitude of the actual value because everybody is watching here, right? If you are part of this network, everybody is going to trust, and if you are going to quote the price saying I'm going to sell this for $500, yes, this $500 is going to appear for everyone. So anyone else, if they wanted to quote more, they will think twice before they join into the network, right? So that's how this rapid supplier connect, it's helping, the blockchain is helping to have a trust-based businesses in this COVID-19 situation. Okay, so there is a transparency, there is a consensus, there is a there is no chances of faking the current cost of any personal product PPEs. Okay, this is one example. So there is another example. We are very well aware of the contact tracing, right? This contact tracing is one of the very popular words now. How they have, even around the world, the companies, the government organizations, everyone is trying to achieve how we can build a mechanism to have an effective contact tracing. Yeah. So here, this company, okay, called Coalition. Okay. So this company called Coalition, they have used blockchain as well as an IoT. They use a Bluetooth enabled, but they use a blockchain based application for contact tracing. As you know, in India or any other country, people are worried about the privacy in contact tracing applications, right? So there is a lot of debate going on. How my data is secure if I'm going to use my contact tracing application? Is that secure? Is somebody is watching me? Wherever I'm going, somebody is watching me. How my data is secure? So that's where the Coalition used the blockchain to make sure that your data is secure and no one can access it without having your consent. Okay. Also, this company also providing cryptocurrency as an incentive. If you're saying that you are going to allow any companies, they're requesting for a data, and you are going to say, okay, I'm okay to check, okay to take my data, you will be automatically added a coin into your account. It's very interesting, right? So please go and look at this particular Coalition. You'll be interesting to see that how they are giving incentive based on what. You'll get a lot of ideas from here. Okay, right. Okay, and then I quickly wanted to, okay, in this field, we have last year we have implemented a small project, basically a student project, and this is about how to use a blockchain implementation. Okay, so this is how it works. Okay, so here these mBlocks is one of the implementations we have done, and we have used the IBM Hyperledger for that. I'm going to share some details about it. I'm not going to more detail into it, but I'm going to share about it. Okay, so here the step one, as usual, the patient visit the hospital and submit the national ID card for registration. Okay, so many of the countries have a national ID card. So here I have something called Emirates ID. In India, we have something called Aadhaar ID. And I'm sure in all the countries, they have their own national ID, national Emirates ID, right? The idea behind this mBlocks is to make use of the blockchain for patient health monitoring system, okay? Without having an additional card. I don't have to carry my additional insurance card with me. If I have Aadhaar card, all my data is embedded into this Aadhaar card, okay, something like that. So the patient visits the hospital and submit the national ID card, okay? And then the hospital admin scan the ID card and they get the required admin details through the mBlocks platform, okay? Right, so my details, health data is basically now stored in the mBlocks. Sorry, somebody muted me. Okay. Can you hear me, man? Now?
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Thank you. Sorry, somebody muted me. Okay. Okay. So mBlocks is a kind of a blockchain platform where all the entities, all the participants are being into this network, and the hospital admin scans the ID card and get all the detail, and the patient will be directed to the specialty doctor, and the doctor log into the mBlocks platform and they will check the necessary details, and here they can access all my medical history, family medical history or prescription, hospital visits and all that. Yeah, just think of this situation. You have an Aadhaar card. Every time we are not going to a well-reputed hospital, right? Even in India or in any other country, every time we are not going to a reputed hospital. We may be visiting a small hospital. Suppose they are part of the M blocks or the blockchain environment. You just have to present your Aadhaar ID and your details are shared. Okay. Now, next time when you are going for a big hospital, even now they have access to your data and they can see which hospital you visited last. Okay, what prescription they have given you. So all these things can be possible here. In step 4, the doctor access it. So the doctor update the current diagnosis and prescription in the M-block system. And finally, the patient healthcare data is up to date and accessible by all stakeholders via M-block system with the permission from the data owners. So here, this is completely a patient-centric application, which means I have the total control. Okay, if I don't want at any point of time in the smart contract, I can just change it. Who should access my data? Let's say a particular pharma entity is part of the blockchain network. I don't want them to access my data. I will go to the blockchain. I make my configuration. I say that for this particular pharma company, don't allow access. Simple as it is. Okay. So in this way, I can, as it's a patient-centric data where all my data is basically secure. Okay. I have the control over my data and I will say whether a particular entity or a participant need to access or not. Okay, so that's about the M-blocks. So yes, okay. So as I told you, his implementation approach. These are the IBM. We have used IBM Hyperledger. It's a composer playground. It was actually open source and accessible from the internet previously, but IBM has stopped investing into it, and they have their own platforms. And now they are releasing Hyperledger Fabric. Not released; it's already there. Hyperledger Fabric, and they are providing the Visual Studio Code extensions to make your coding further. But these steps we have done in the IBM Hyperledger last year. So using the Composer Playground, it's an online platform. Okay, but nevertheless, you can see that for implementing any blockchain, these are some of the steps you need to go. Okay, so first you need to identify the participants, means the nodes or the entities. Who are the entities going to participate here? You need to say who are the participants. You need to identify them. And second one, you need to identify the assets, right? So you need to say, when I say assets, it can be a tangible or intangible assets. Okay, the assets that can be measured or assets that cannot be measured. Okay, so you need to identify the assets. Here, my asset is my health record is an asset, right? If you take the food supply chain, the food items are assets. So in that case, you need to identify an asset. And then you need to identify applications, like each and every entity running their own applications, and they may collect the data in a different way. They may be using a legacy system. So you need to see how you are going to use that applications. And then you need to identify transaction for every participant. As the end user of M-blocks, for example, if I am the patient, so what are the transactions related to me, right? So my transactions are basically, I will grant access or revoke access for someone. I will access my data to review it. These are the things I am going to do. But for the doctors, what they are going to do. But for the pharmacists, what they are going to do. But for the insurance company, what transaction they are going to do. So we need to identify the transactions as well as the events. What will happen when? Okay, we need to identify the events. And as I said, we need to identify the external system integration. And finally, you need to identify the requirement and benefit. As I told you before, blockchain is not the solution for everything. Okay, before we implement blockchain, it is very essential that you should know how to whether it is really required to implement blockchain. You should do a thorough analysis. There are a lot of content available in the internet. Even the books are available, even to make sure that, to just convince people that yes, your current system or the existing system can be moved to the blockchain environment. Okay, so there is a lot of content available related to it. I request you to please go through it. Okay, just to check whether your system really need to move to the blockchain environment. It's a question mark, right? So you need to analyze about it. Okay, I'm come almost the end of the session. Okay, so I told you about the M-blocks. These M-blocks has been published in IEEE Explore. Okay, and you can access my IEEE document from here. It is a more detailed one. Okay, like you can see even the screenshots and the step-by-step approach and how it was done. So everything is available in this particular IEEE Explore. And you can use it for your research purposes. Okay, so I'm almost end of the session, and I wanted to talk about this one here. So now, how the blockchain is going, where it is going to, how we are going to, what is the future for the blockchain in healthcare? Okay, so this I took from one of the sources I have given it here, reference. Okay, so as you can see here, so everything is fine. Okay, so for example, in 2019-20, these are all high. Most of the organizations are started implementing these things. Okay, clients, and e-consulting is the one, it's the medium, and then healthcare data storage is also given as low, but the digital identity verification is closely related to the healthcare monitoring, right? So these things are already in the market in 2019-20. In 23 and 15, the IOMT is going to take lead, which means the Internet of Medical Things. So as you know, this COVID situation has given a lot of opportunity for the blockchain. Okay, a lot of opportunity for recording the transaction. Okay, so IOMT is going to take the highest lead, followed by the smart contracts for each and every entity, and there is going to come something called health tokens for everyone, like when you are, as I told you, the incentive kind of thing. Okay, and then the pharmaceutical companies and clinical trial companies also will started using it, and the regularity and compliances auditing companies, they are also going to make use of it. And out of which I am very much interested, very much impressed with this one. See, universal health record and identities. Just think of the situation. Okay, like my data is, as of now, my data is available within my ma'am, somebody is muting. This is second time. Yeah, participants, please don't mute me, please. Yes. Okay. So out of this, I'm really impressed with this particular one, universal health record and identities. You just think of a situation. Okay, if I am currently living in Dubai. Okay, so for example, my data is available within UAE, my health data. Okay, so let's say I'm living for last 5 years, and last 5 years data, let's say wherever I go into the UAE, hospitals can access, for instance. But what happens when I go back to India, when I go to another country or any other country? Is there a way that my health record can be easily accessed? So I love this idea of having universal health record and identity. You will carry one card that says about all your health record. You go any part of the world, you just show your card, the doctor can easily and quickly do that. Okay, remember, these kind of applications are very, very useful, where when the people go unconscious, when nobody is nearby, while the doctors will go for the information, so they don't have anything. So when you have a health card or something, where doctors, when they just share or scan that one, if they can able to see all their history, that is going to make a great impact in lives of many people, right? So that's where the blockchain is going in. So I will definitely share. So apart from this, you can see there are a lot of other things, like the AI, AR, VR applications like augmented reality or virtual reality applications will come into the picture, and they will make use of the blockchain environment. Okay, so there may be data analytics and blockchain applications that will use the wellness and personal coaching, and health policy voting can come in the future. Okay, and then there may be a learning health system and advocates for the educators or the researchers in this field. Okay, these are some of the areas where the blockchain in healthcare is leading to. Okay, so that's my last slide. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, I am happy to answer.
Participants, any queries, kindly share through the chat box. So shall I read the queries, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I join in IBM's research lab? Any possibilities for doctorates? Dr. Kausalya Narasimhan has asked.
So I'm not from IBM, first thing. And second thing, yes, of course. Okay, they are already researchers. Okay, they are already in IBM labs. So there are a lot of opportunities for this. You can go and check in their website.
The second one, what kind of software need to work in this field, and what are the basic knowledge we need? Kanishka Kavita ma'am has asked.
Okay, so as I told you before, there are a few somebody can just mute your mic. there is a disturbance from my end. Yeah, thank you. Okay, as I told you before, there are a lot of open source platform available if you want to implement or if you want to develop your blockchain knowledge. Okay, one of them is IBM Hyperledger. Another one is Ethereum. Okay, Go Ethereum is another site you can go and check where you can start developing. And about the technical knowledge, if you have a basic programming knowledge with Java background, and you should have some kind of network security background, and you should have the database management system background. And with this, definitely you can move ahead and you can easily learn these skills. Okay.
And next question, Mr. Movindan sir has asked, Bitcoin is whether it is good in India, whether it, for our network in India, whether we can use Bitcoin technology.
I don't know in what terms, what terms the question is asked. Is it about the investment, or he wanted to implement Bitcoin, or I don't know about that. But generally, as I said, the Bitcoins are the public blockchain. Okay, so that's why many of the governments across the world, they are little bit hesitant to use the Bitcoins, because it is used for illegal money transfer across the world. Okay, in India, some part of they have approved, I think, with some restrictions. So let's see how it goes. Even I have invested something in Bitcoins. So even I don't know how it will go. Okay, I just invested just to know, to understand the market. Of course,
Mr.
yes,
Siva,
yeah.
Sorry, sir. Mr. Sivaprakasan sir has asked, what are the research problems in blockchain?
Plenty of research problems in blockchain available. Okay, if you take healthcare, okay. Now I will give you a hot research topic. For example, there are a lot of contract tracing applications available in the market now, right? In this COVID-19 situation. So you can just do a research about all these contact tracing applications, just download and install on your app and see what are the different features and compare, and then see how blockchain can solve the current issues. One thing. Okay. Apart from that, the blockchain has its impact in multiple horizons. Okay, anywhere you take the agriculture, you take the medical field, you take the supply chain, you take anything, even the education, you take any field, this is available. You have to just narrow down based on your experience and based on your interest. You have to narrow down which area you wanted to work, and then you can decide whether the blockchain can be applied over there or not.
And Mr. Arun sir has asked, can you please explain the blockchain execution in layman terms?
Okay, in layman terms, okay, which means, see, as an, okay, so for example, let's say this is something like when you are using a mobile app as an end user. For me, it's like using a mobile app, but in the background, the whole transaction can be in a blockchain environment. It's not going to, for example, maybe the last session, Dr. Benson might have explained about the food supply chain, right? So nowadays, there are many organic foods are coming into the market. So, but how we know that these food are really organic? Is there a way, as an end consumer, believe me or trust me that I'm the end consumer without having any technical background, but I know how to use a mobile app, correct? I know how to use a mobile app. So if I am the owner of organic food company, okay, let's say organic food is my company name. I'm just releasing I'm supplying a lot of organic food into the market. I just say that there is a label available, there is a barcode or a QR code available in our products. As an end user, you have to just scan the barcode, scan the QR code, and just to see how the food is coming from, where the food is coming from, what kind of fertilizer we used, and what kind of temperature it's maintained. So that is called a layman terms, okay? Like for the end user, I don't have to know about blockchain technology. I know how to use the mobile app. I just scan the product, right? And this will just display everything related to my tracing, right? Related to how it was processed and every information. That's how the blockchain works.
Yes, sir. The one more question. Can we adopt blockchain technology into Internet of Things?
Of course, yes. That's what we are discussing about. Okay. So what we told about is Internet of Medical Things, IOMT, right? So Internet of Things is everything, like for example, food supply chain. I told you, right? You want to maintain the temperature of a particular food or a drug. It's very important that when the pharmacies, they are using it already. Okay, for the drug, it's very important that has to be maintained in some minus 10 degree, 25 degree, 40 degrees centigrade throughout the supply chain. So how this can be possible? So I can have an IoT device and temperature sensor, humidity sensor, or what kind of sensor. I just connect every 10 minutes, this temperature data is added to the blockchain. I can do it. Okay. Yes, the IoT and blockchain is going to be.
I think the final question, sir. The best language for blockchain.
Okay. Go is one of the popular languages used by IBM. Okay. Solidity is another language based on the JavaScript. Is also very popular in Ethereum as well as in Oracle blockchain apps. So these two languages are very good. And I guess even if you are familiar with C#, even you can write the codes in that. So nowadays there are more flexibilities coming. There are more add-ons are coming. You have to search about it. But basically, Go is the programming language used in IBM Hyperledger platform environment. And JavaScript also helps a lot.
Yes, I think that's all with the questionnaire. Any more queries? And one more there was, what about Python?
Yes, Python can be used, but I'm not aware of it. I haven't seen any implementation or any papers that describes how to use Python.
Yes, any other queries, participants?
You can take more questions if anybody has any question. You have time, ma'am? Are we done?
Yes, I think the participants, they are in a hurry to fill the feedback form. They want to share your PPTs through mail and through the WhatsApp.
Sure.
So I think we can wind up with the session, sir.
Okay.
Any other queries?
So, thanks everyone. I would like to thank everyone, all the participants, your interest and everything. So please don't let down your interest down. So this is a wonderful area where you can do a lot of things. Okay, so I'm happy to help you if you need anything. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Anto, can we go with the vote of thanks?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I will always thank the Lord. I will always thank the Lord. I will never stop praising Him. Psalms 34:1. Gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from the soul. I extend my sincere gratitude to our patron, Reverend Sister Dr. Arokya Rani, Secretary and Principal, for her support and guidance in organizing this webinar. I also extend my gratitude to Mr. Ramakrishnan Ramanan, Lecturer, Technical Trainer and Project Mentor, Higher Colleges of Technology, UAE, for accepting our invitation to be the speaker of today's session. I extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Deena Suresh, Head Department of Computer Science, for her immense efforts in organizing this webinar. I am very much grateful to all my colleagues for their valuable assistance, arrangements, encouragement, and all-time support in organizing this webinar. I extend my appreciation to all passionate participants for their valuable and lively participation in this webinar. Thank you all.
Thank you, Anto. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, participants. The feedback link is shared in the chat box, and kindly fill the feedback link within half an hour. It will be active only for half an hour, and your name, your designation, whatever to be printed in the certificate, kindly fill it very carefully in the feedback form. As the certificates are auto-generated, we cannot give another certificate. We cannot correct the certificate. So kindly be sure while filling the certificates. Thank you, participants. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable session.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks, everyone. See you again.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Shall we wind up with the session, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.